Oliver woke to a torrential downpour hammering the roof of his attic bedroom. Olivia had shown him to his room last night, slightly apologetic for the fact that he was being housed in the former servants' quarters. "All the rooms in the addition are taken at the moment," she explained, "since everyone is living at home. But once Althea moves to Appleby Farm after the wedding, you might be able to have her bedroom." Take the intimidating Althea's bedroom? No thanks. Oliver had assured her he was fine in the servants' quarters. There was no one else up under the eaves, and the bathroom down the hall, with its Victorian tub and trickle of rust-coloured water, was his alone. Now, in the morning, Oliver stared at the ceiling as a gloomy, grey light filtered through the curtains. He tried to recapture some of the ebbing optimism he'd felt last night. He was a bit overwhelmed by all the Penryns with their various eccentricities. He'd grown up with his one cousin Jack, who had gone to boarding school at 7, when Oliver had been only 5 years old. Life at Pembury Farm with his uncle had been decidedly quiet, save for the dreaded intervals when his cousin came home. In between those times, however, his uncle had been a man of few words, and his Aunt Penny, who was a far more convivial character, had divorced Simon and moved to London when Oliver had been 12. He still kept in touch with her, and she was as fun and enthusiastic as ever, if a bit distant. The women in his life, he'd thought more than once, with a determined pragmatism, seemed destined to leave him. First his own mother, scarpering off to Australia when he was a kid, and then his aunt and virtual mother figure. And then there was Audrey, who had decided, regretfully it was true, that they had no future after 2 years together at Oxford. Hopefully it wouldn't become a continuing trend, but the truth was he hadn't had much luck in the romance department so far. For some reason this made him think of the mysterious Seph, with her blue-green eyes and ferocious scowl. No joy there, certainly, he thought with a sigh, and yet he still wondered, why had she seemed so angry? Shaking himself free of such pointless, meandering thoughts, he rose from the bed to brave the icy, bare floorboards, and then the barely lukewarm trickle of the shower. 5-star accommodation it was not, but he wasn't going to complain. Free room and board had been generous enough for him. 20 minutes later, wearing a button-down shirt and brown cords, his hair still damp, he ventured down to the kitchen in search of breakfast and his boss. Last night Althea had mentioned 8 a.m. as a potential start time. It was 22 now.